Hi, everybody. Liz here, and today we're talking about motivation and what to do when you don't have it. We have now a Patreon, which is patreon.com/The Bob and Liz Show, as well as our website, bobandlizshow.com. And you can check out all the products and services that we have available there, as well as our blog. And information on our online classes as well. Okay. And then also make sure, please, that you have liked their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Bob and Liz Show, as well as instagram.com/The Bob and Liz Show. And hit the subscribe and notification bells here on YouTube. Last couple of weeks, most of us have been spending a lot of time at home, us included, and I've kind of gone through these different phases of feeling like I should be really motivated and really productive and getting all of this stuff done while I'm at home, right, and not really going anywhere else. But I had a good at least a week that I was really in a funk and just mentally and physically and emotionally exhausted and not feeling motivated to do much of anything but the bare minimum. And I'm feeling much better now. But I think that there's probably a lot of people who can relate to this. You know, that we have all this time. I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you're still working or working from home, or you're an essential employee or whatever, and you're still really busy. But I know there's a lot of people who are spending a lot more time at home right now, and we have this pressure, I think, to be really productive. And if you're able to do that, that's great and that's wonderful. But it's also, I think, important to recognize that this isn't just a lazy weekend at home or a lazy week off work at home. Things are kind of weird. And a lot of us, I think, are not really sure what to do with that. But it's important to start thinking about, as we transition to hopefully very soon, getting back a little bit more normalcy. We really have all these things that we want to accomplish. And I personally know that at the very end of this and things are getting a little bit more back to busier and being outside of home more often, being away from home more often, I'm going to feel regretful if I didn't use at least some of this time productively. Okay. But people who are successful with things that they've accomplished are not perfect all the time. They're not perfect in their motivation. They're not perfect in their discipline. They're not doing everything exactly right all the time, but they are consistent. Okay, so maybe that's what they're almost perfect at, is being consistent. No matter what your goal is, what you're trying to accomplish, being consistent is the key, I think. So Bobby did, I think it's been a couple weeks now, maybe, his video on getting inspired. And that kind of got me thinking too, because during a lot of the stay-at-home orders, I think I'm relatively, kind of a motivated, active, busy person, but I have felt just creatively so in the dumps and mentally tired, and we'd be talking about content ideas and, things like, hey, people want to hear from you too. And I just feel absolutely like I got nothing. Like my normal, usually I've got lots of ideas percolating in my brain, and actually getting all of those ideas put down into some form is my challenge. Having all these ideas and then having the time to get them actually put together into something. But these last couple weeks, I just have almost not quite a brain fog, but just creatively so in the dumps and not motivated to really kind of come up with ideas. I'm not feeling inspired. And he says, well, what's your plan? I'm like, well, I don't really have one. It's like, well, isn't that a problem? And if it's something that I need to fix, then yeah, I need to come up with a plan. So again, I'm relating this mostly to myself because I really want to use some of this time really productively, but I also really, really empathize if you're someone who feels like you're just barely hanging on by the tips of your fingernails. So if that's you, keep hanging in there. Just do what you can. We love you. But if you're someone who, still has, something that you're actively working towards or that you are wanting to accomplish in the near future, but you're finding motivation to do so or to take those steps that you need to do to get to that goal or to get to that point, that's who I'm talking to right now. So, as well as myself. But so I have 3 tips for you guys and for me, because again, a lot of this is for me too, kind of lighting a fire underneath my own rear end as much as for you guys, hopefully. So the first one, and as cheesy as this sounds, the first one is to start with gratitude. Anytime that I feel like I'm lacking in motivation or lacking in the just get up and go to do something, or I'm feeling a little bit blue or melancholy or whatever, if I can stop and think about all of the things that are going well and that are going right, that gives me a better starting point, a happier starting point, a more upbeat starting point. Okay. I think being grateful for, and I don't mean that you have to be like Susie Sunshine all the time. That's not realistic either. But being able to acknowledge and recognize the things that are good in your current situation goes a long way to, I think, starting in the right direction. If you are working on some kind of physical goal, okay. So right now with all the being at home stuff, I'm doing a lot of the online classes. And normally when I'm not doing all the online stuff, I'm personal training. So I'm coaching and directing a lot more than I'm doing. But with all the online classes, I'm doing everything with everybody. And so it's a little bit more tiring, and I know that that's part of my lack of motivation is, getting up and doing is just energy being expended elsewhere. So I know that maybe I need to, one, take some steps to give myself to optimize the energy that I'm going to have, right? And prioritizing the things that are most important. And I've been neglecting my strength training. Okay, some of you may have seen some of the other social media posts that I just put up today as I'm recording this. Some of you may have seen those other social media posts, but I went and revisited some of my heavy strength training, and just I'm feeling really weak because, of course, I've been neglecting it, right? But I can take a moment so my goal, I want to get stronger again. But I can recognize that I am already relatively strong. I'm healthy. My body does pretty much what I ask it to. I don't have really a lot of significant issues that I have to deal with, and I'm not in, constant pain from a chronic illness or injury or, things like that. So I can recognize that I'm already pretty much in a good place and I'm strong and healthy, and getting to new goals is really just something for for me and for my own gratification, really. Nobody else cares whether I'm deadlifting 100 pounds or 200 pounds or 300 pounds. That's for me. But knowing that wherever I am, I can be really grateful for what I'm capable of and use that gratitude as a launching point to kind of propel myself to the next thing that I want to accomplish. If maybe you have a relationship goal, maybe you have savings, financial goals or whatever it is, just starting from a point of being grateful for what's good, being realistic about what's not, but be grateful for what's good and use that as your starting point to kind of give you that little bit of hopefully a little bit of motivation to start that snowball, because good things snowball too. We kind of talk about snowball as being a bad thing, like, oh, that went downhill fast. But good things snowball too. So good things kind of attract more good things, and you're looking for the good in other people and in situations, and then you find more and more and more. And again, it's not about being an unrealistic Susie Sunshine all the time. It's being grateful and getting that mindset of finding what's good and using that as your jumping point. So number 2 is to make and keep a plan, but have a little bit of flexibility. And so what I mean is that you are going to set out a plan, whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to accomplish, set out your plan, but have some options for when circumstances aren't perfect. Okay, have your perfect plan, have your how you exactly would love it to go, and then have the backup, kind of like plan B of, okay, well, if I know this happens quite a bit, okay, if that does happen, I'm going to do this instead. Or maybe you plan that you are going to work out 3 days a week. Okay, that's totally doable. That's manageable. Most people who really care about their health can and should find time to do that, right? So maybe that, okay, ideally, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's a great schedule. But maybe Wednesdays you often have to work really late. You don't get home until like 7 or 8 p.m. Or maybe you're on call certain days and you might work and you might not. It's like have your plan, but in case, okay, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday isn't the best case scenario for you. Maybe it's going to be something a little bit weirder, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. Or even so far as to just saying day 1, day 2, day 3. And if your schedule changes week to week, your schedule for week 1 might be certain days, but then your schedule for the following week would be different days. And then you repeat those 2 days because your schedule, at that point repeats. It's, again, like I said, successful people aren't perfect, and they're not perfect all the time, but they're consistent. So finding what's not necessarily the absolute most textbook perfect thing, but what's going to be manageable for you to maintain long enough to see some success. Okay, so make a plan, but have a little bit of flexibility to that, because I find that people, in theory, love to have these really rigid plans. They like very precise directions. Eat this, don't eat that, do this exercise these days for this many minutes, but black and white, do it. But in actual practice, people are terrible at following those directions. Just terrible. Something with guidelines of generally eating healthy, fresh food and exercising 3 days a week in a way that feels good to you, and find some way to do at least a little bit of strength training. that's like, well, I have to kind of think about that a little bit. I have to plan it out a little bit. I have to find what I enjoy and can stick with. I have to plan out my week a little bit. But in doing all of those things, that tailors it to you and what you can maintain to really see long-term success. Okay, you don't need a little black and white, do this, very precise directions from somebody else who doesn't know you. All right, so have a plan, but give it a little bit of flexibility. Okay. And then number 3 is to focus on the outcome. So when motivation is waning and you just are not feeling like you can do any more, really, really focus on the outcome. Okay, what is your goal? What is life going to look like when you accomplish that goal? How are you going to feel when you accomplish that goal? And again, I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but even go so far, close your eyes and really, really vividly picture it. Okay, why is this goal important to you? Why do you need to do what you're trying to do? Hopefully it's for you and not for somebody else, unless they are, vitally important to your life. If you're getting healthy so that you can see your grandkids grow up, then okay, great, cool. But, a few vanity pounds because, somebody said offhandedly you'd be cute if you lost a few pounds, that's ridiculous. Okay. That's not a goal that will inspire motivation when it's waning, right? A goal that's really important to you will, I think, if you are really, really visualizing and really thinking about it, picturing your life once you've accomplished that, imagining that end result often really lights a fire under people because we kind of get comfortable in how things are right now. But we have to almost sink into that discomfort sometimes to get that motivation back to get moving again if we've kind of stalled and stopped and aren't making the progress that we want. Okay, so really, really focusing on that end goal. What is it going to look like? How is it going to feel? How are things going to be different in your life if you reach that? And find a way to keep that in the forefront of your mind all the time. If you need to put pictures up in your house or that remind you of that, or put a little note in your wallet or reminders to pop up on your phone, whatever you need to do, keep that in the forefront of your mind. And that really having that reminder all the time. Sometimes we need that because, again, we have to get out of that area of being comfortable and get busy, get to work, right? So I hope that you guys are all finding ways to manage at home right now and staying happy as much as possible, staying sane. Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys are, what are you working on? What are your goals right now? How are you finding ways to stay motivated, or maybe you're not staying motivated and you need help too? I would love to hear all of that. So we have now a Patreon, which is patreon.com/The Bob and Liz Show, as well as our website, bobandlizshow.com. And you can check out all the products and services that we have available there, as well as our blog. And information on our online classes as well. Okay. And then also make sure, please, that you have liked their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Bob and Liz Show, as well as instagram.com/The Bob and Liz Show. And hit the subscribe and notification bells here on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know down below in those comments, what are you guys working on? You having motivation struggles like me too? Or what goals are you working on? What are you accomplishing? How is your stay at home going? So take care.